All right, what's going on, Legion fans? Welcome to our first official episode for our podcast surrounding the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. You guys know it as It's a Bird?
It's a shield?
It's just another podcast. So we are jumping into episode 1, and it kicked off with a bang.
Why am I here?
What do you mean, why are you here?
I shouldn't be here anymore.
No.
First off, let me reintroduce.
Yeah.
Let me reintroduce Mr. Mike Nichols here with us.
Yeah, we have
again.
Mike back with us. All right,
Mike is back with us. Two reasons Mike is back with us. One,
Right.
he is a huge Captain America fan.
Yeah.
Favorite superhero.
Favorite
by far.
superhero. He's going to dig in with us. Really excited for his perspective.
Yeah.
Number 2, I shouldn't be here.
You're
supposed to be
I'm
a
supposed
substitute.
to have a child. My wife is still pregnant.
Yeah.
She is still holding on.
Yeah, so for those of you, we record Saturday nights normally, and we recorded Friday night for the Snyder Cut, hoping that the baby would come and that we
She should be here.
Yeah, Mike, we set up with Mike. We're like, all right, Mike, you're gonna do a stand-in.
Yeah.
You're gonna come in and do this with us, and then I text Logan on Saturday, and I'm like, are we at like 7:30? And you're like, yep, we're good. It's not here yet.
Yeah.
For our fans who don't know, Mike and I actually work together. I've had a whole coverage plan in place at work for a full week. For a full week.
Yeah.
Everybody's like,
Is
the
it?
baby here? Is this the time?
I just
I
keep
keep
waiting.
showing up in morning meeting. I keep showing up here on the podcast.
I'm
So
stressing
Mike
out
was
for
supposed to fill in
Yeah,
for me
it's supposed
today.
to only be a substitute, not an extra person.
yeah, exactly.
It's only supposed to
You-
be 2 on this podcast, not 3.
Well, the more the merrier.
You
right?
went from filling in to guest speaker for tonight, so I'm sorry for the demotion.
I'm getting stressed out for you. Every morning I wake up and check the phone to see if you sent a message to us saying, all right, game time. And
No,
nothing's
she's gonna
happening.
just stay pregnant forever.
Well, hopefully, don't tell her that. Hopefully not.
She's the one who said that today. I'm
Oh,
losing my
my
mind.
goodness. All
Let's
right.
dig into this episode.
Hopefully this is a little bit of a. Did she watch it with you?
Yes. Oh no, she did not watch this one with me.
Well.
She's excited to watch it, but she is setting that aside. She can't be focused on anything
I
else
was
other
gonna
than
say
being
she's
pregnant right now.
She's pregnant.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Very pregnant. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So first episode drops. Man, it started out.
They came out the
They
gate
came out
kicking.
Literally.
And so, kicking. So we got George St. Pierre back as the leaper.
Yeah, the leaper.
And he's the initial
did a
villain
lot of
right off the
leaping.
bat. The thing that I love,
He leapt a lot at the
He
beginning
leapt
of
a
this
lot.
episode.
He was
Yeah.
leaping all
All over
from
the place.
helicopter to helicopter.
Dude, when they wingsuit,
yeah,
when they would wingsuit into the next helicopter,
Dude, that was legit.
that was
Like,
insane.
legit.
So here's my one thing. Here's
Yeah.
I really
Yeah,
loved
yeah.
the Falcon. I loved
Oh,
the
yeah.
fact. So here, and this is what I'm going to say about Marvel to this point. We
Yeah.
haven't gotten up close sky or flight battles to this point.
well, hand-to-hand flight battles.
Hand-to-hand flight
Yeah.
battles.
We've gotten
We would get,
laser beams.
We'd get laser beams. We'd
Yeah.
get lightning.
Thor hammer.
Thor's lightning people out of the sky.
Yeah.
Iron
Which is
Man
cool.
is laser beaming people
We got
out of the sky.
spaceship battles.
We got
with
spaceship
the Milano,
battles.
right?
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
cool.
We get all
Yeah.
of that. But we haven't gotten hand-to-hand
Yeah.
in-flight battles to this point. So this was awesome.
Oh yeah.
He is straight up. Falcon is tearing people up in flight.
Yeah.
Okay, and then flies into. Well, I love the little bit at the beginning where he's like, "There's a man."
Yeah.
There's a man on the plane.
When he's sitting there and he's like looking over the windshield and he
Yeah.
realizes that the real pilot's dead. He's like, oh no. And the guy's like, who? There's somebody up there. Yeah. And then the Falcon punch.
Yeah.
Comes right in the door. He's got it. I hope he says that at
At
some
some
point.
point
I don't
he's
know if
gonna-
they can get the rights to that. but-
Probably not.
I hope
Probably
so.
not.
It would be great.
Yeah, we have the rights to it because Nintendo sponsors us.
That's true. They don't.
Yeah,
They don't.
so-
I think you're gonna have to. You're gonna have to demonetize this or something.
Nah, it's okay. They'll sponsor us halfway through and they realize
Halfway
how
through.
good it is.
All right, fine. But so the funnier part here is, so he goes in,
Yeah.
he's tearing people up.
Yeah.
The one thing that I think is super dumb on the villain part.
Yeah, you're right.
This is what
about
I would
this.
say.
Yeah.
Okay, Falcon. We know his wingspan is huge.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
can't. He in the actual plane. We got to see the shield.
I love the
That was
shield.
That
was
was
great.
amazing.
Yeah.
We got to see some of what he can do in some close combat.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. There's 5 guys in there.
Yeah.
It's 5-on-1.
Yeah.
We're in close proximity.
Yeah.
That is not Falcon's like space.
No,
that is
it's
not his
no,
MO.
He needs the, he needs
You
the
can't
open
fly.
air.
You can't move much.
Yeah.
Yeah. These idiots jumped out of the plane.
You know what it
I'm
was?
like, What are you doing?
You know what it was? They had all bought wingsuits.
They just wanted
they
to
were just
show
like,
them
we
off.
gotta try them out.
We gotta use them.
We gotta use them. In actuality, I bet you. So they're flying into territory that American ships are not allowed in, right? American
yeah.
Right. So my original thought was that they were gonna ditch that. Like if they flew that over, they would probably get taken out. Like
Sure.
in the airspace.
Sure.
So I think their original plan was to ditch that anyway and wingsuit out, even if Falcon didn't show up.
But they stood a better chance of just staying in the plane.
Unless they got shot down once they cross the border.
Well, no, but then jump out at the last
And then
minute.
jump out
But
the
I
last
mean,
minute.
like they
Yeah.
had better
Yeah.
chances against Falcon in the plane
Yeah.
than outside the plane. Now,
You
they
get
made that
scared
decision.
with an Avenger, man.
That's
Avengers
on
Day.
them. That's on them.
Yeah.
That's their bad decision.
Yeah, they did.
At that point, we
They-
get some of the most amazing flight
Jumping
battles.
between helicopters.
It was amazing.
So many
great.
helicopters.
Yeah,
They went to at least 2.
Yeah, exactly. That was at least 2. We know Leaper made it to at least 2 because,
Yeah.
well, here's the other thing. Their numbers count for nothing once they're in flight. He just
Right.
runs. He's pulling rip cords through guys, flying them off.
Which is super cool.
He's knocking them out. He's knocking them into mountains and stuff. Like
Yeah.
it's insane.
Yeah, well, Batroc he covered his butt. I mean, I don't think he cared. He just wanted. He had the human shield. He
Right,
had the pilot
yeah,
on his
right.
back. So he's like, I'm good.
Yeah, he knows
Falcon's
he's
not going to
safe,
do anything
so-
to me. Yeah.
And we
He's
got
gotta
to see
catch
Red
me
Wing.
first.
We got to see Red Wing.
Yeah, he only showed up a little bit in Civil War.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
When they were in Lagos. When I still that's one of my favorite scenes when he's like, go ahead, pet him. And Black Widow's like, no, I'm not. He's like, he saved you. Go ahead.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna see a little bit more of Red Wing. Red Wing's
he,
sick.
he was legit in this.
He's got,
he was
like,
really cool.
missiles and guns and stuff.
Missiles. He
Yeah.
took out 2 helicopters, man.
Yeah, that's
one
great.
with rockets and the other with a minigun.
Right, and that does speak into as we hear the character Torres, who's played by Danny Ramirez, who's kind of like his military
Boots on the
Sam's
ground.
military boots on the ground. Yeah, we hear that Red Wing, or get reminded that Red Wing and Falcon's like upgraded suit is all Stark tech. So
Sure,
because
because
got some.
I pointed out
beefiness.
at one point,
Yeah.
my man Falcon is kicking like he is enhanced.
Yeah,
he
man.
kicked the dude clear across the plane and out the door. Like, I mean, he's kicking like he's enhanced. So
Yeah.
he's
got to.
He's kicking butt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, he's got to with what's coming up.
Yeah,
This
of
series,
course.
he's
of
got
course.
to be. He's got to be kicking it with. I mean, he was kicking it with
And
Captain
we saw
America.
that.
So
Yeah,
he's
he was-
got to.
yeah.
He's got to catch up.
And now
Yeah.
that Stark tech is, the possibilities are endless with what Red Wing can do. Because, what Stark can do is,
Pretty
Yeah.
much endless.
So it can
yeah.
be.
Well,
We've only seen a little bit of what Red Wing can do, I think.
yeah, but he won't get any upgrades because Stark's dead.
Well,
stink.
but we did see.
He might
I
have
mean,
more stuff in
we
it, though.
did see Falcon is working on him. Like, I
yeah,
mean,
he's been at least been taught
it's
how
his
to work.
like
with him.
that's his
Yeah.
like baby.
Right,
Like,
and
so he's gonna upgrade the heck out of that.
He
thing.
was
Yeah.
he was a paratrooper, but who knows what his like he could have had background in engineering and
Right.
he knows how to. He's working on his family's boat, so he
Right.
obviously has some mechanical engineering background.
understanding.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
something. So, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. One thing this series is doing right off the bat, other than the action, because it started like an MCU movie. I mean, it was
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
phenomenal right out the bat. Fight choreography. We've talked about bad fight choreography, especially in the X-Men movies we've been going through.
Sure.
How
yeah.
how they just don't know how to do
terrible.
good fight choreography. The Marvel movies has always been good at fight choreography, and
Sure.
so we don't see any exception here. But they do something new here, where they're taking like the action, buddy cop kind of feel of what this is kind of like. It's Falcon and Winter Soldier, and kind of working together, and they're really going into the superheroes. And you were saying it, Mike, earlier before we started recording. The superhero everyday, like
Right.
they're
Yeah.
just regular people.
Because in like the MCU movies, you only see them really a ton as
Yeah, there's not enough time.
and
to
how
build
they
it.
interact with society as much. But now it's like people want to take pictures with them. And you don't really see that in. You never saw that in Thor because he's
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're going to therapists. They're working with their family business, and we get to see Falcon's sister and
Right,
her
right.
kids, and Logan, you were mentioning the effects of the blip. It's not going
Yeah,
away.
I love the fact that they keep addressing the blip. I
Yeah.
mean, this is 5 years that we haven't really in most other comic book movies. People
Yeah.
would just like kind of pass this along to move on to the next thing.
Yeah,
what this is, they're really digging into the emotional trauma that goes along with people not being there for 5 years.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden being back.
Yeah.
And we have to remember which characters were there and were not there. So
Bucky and Sam both dusted.
Bucky and Sam were both not there for 5 years. And his sister, Falcon's sister, does not let him forget that.
Right, because she was here.
She
when
was
their
there.
Family
She
business
had
fell
to
apart.
take care of the family business.
Yeah.
She had to raise her boys. She had to do it all on her own.
Yeah.
And that was that's 5 years. It's not like when they corrected the blip.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like those 5 years were erased. That's what Tony was very, very clear
people
with the Hulk about.
Moved on, and they lived and they experienced, and it wasn't just like everybody was gone.
But what he made sure was you change nothing about the last 5 years.
Right.
You just bring everyone back.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if Tony even knew the effects that would have on like the repercussions.
Really
Nobody could really know.
Yeah.
You're exactly right. So we have some people, and this is where we get to in the next scene, is we have some people who are very thankful.
Yeah.
Very thankful, coming up to Falcon on the street, thanking him for bringing his wife back.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
and then we've got the Flag Smashers,
Yeah.
who we now get a clearer picture of who they are and what they're about.
Right.
It's a little bit different than in the comics, which is fine. It's
pretty close
shift.
though. It's pretty close.
What they're saying is, though, things were better during the blip.
Right,
they want to be back in that worldscape.
Right, but because there was no formal government.
Exactly.
Like everything was kind of
chaotic.
There was no nations. They had to all then
open
come
borders,
together.
Yeah.
And so
That's
hey,
I'm going to tell you something right now.
Yeah.
And this is going to be a little bit of a jump.
Yeah.
I don't want any government based on what this government is
Yeah.
doing. I'm just going to tell you right
Yeah,
now.
we'll
I may
get
be
to
a
that.
flag smasher by the end of this.
Oh, no.
I may be a flag smasher.
You're part of the Empire.
That's right.
You're siding with Magneto.
Exactly.
You're going with Apocalypse.
Hey,
you're a
if
flag
this-
smasher. What's going on,
If they
man?
want to do this to if they
table.
if they want to do this to Falcon,
Yeah.
if they want
yeah.
to do this to him,
Yeah.
I'm going to be a flag smasher. That's for sure. Man, they really make it that the Marvel universe really makes you want to hate your own government.
Yeah.
That's all I'm
Well,
saying here.
I
It's like
think, and they're using the government as a vehicle, but they want you to hate injustice. And I think
Sure.
that's what a great tie to what superheroes are, because they're about the upholders of justice and
especially Cap.
oh yeah,
Especially Cap.
especially Cap. The image of Captain America. I mean,
And they just spit on him.
They
They
did.
just spit on his grave. That is terrible.
Well,
man.
we talked about
we'll get into it in a minute, but let's keep working our way through this.
well,
episode.
this actually goes nicely into it. So
Yeah, okay.
we talked in our epilogue for this series. You and I did, Logan.
Yeah.
About how in the world did Sam and Bucky ever give up the shield?
Right.
So
that's a good
one,
point. Yeah.
One, we see that they're not Bucky and Sam aren't together at this point.
Right.
Yeah.
So
They are.
Bucky's ghosting him. He's
Yeah.
not listening to his
He's
calls. He's not
ignoring
responding his
Sam
texts
completely.
Yeah. So they're not together. So he's not involved there. And then we were talking about, well, maybe Sam. Why would Sam ever give it up willingly? But it goes back to that conversation of not feeling worthy,
Right.
to take the mantle, and then he
Such
pulls
a
an Indiana,
noble act.
He pulls
Such
an Indiana
a
Jones.
noble act.
Okay? He pulls Indiana Jones. This belongs in a museum.
That's right. That's
he
right.
has to put it there
He puts it in a museum
as a symbol.
and he
Nobody
gets
can hold this
commended.
title.
He
Yeah.
gets commended by this
Yeah.
this
Snake.
snake.
Yeah,
this
right.
snake.
You're for sure. Yeah,
But he gets commended by this agent, and
Yeah.
I don't know his name in the U.S.
he's probably
but,
a flag smasher,
could be.
or working with Zemo or whoever ends up being the
Could
big
be.
bad.
That's a good point. But so he
Yeah.
gets commended for handing
Yeah.
over and coming forward with the shield.
Yeah.
It was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
This man.
And what an emotional scene when he gives his
Yes.
speech and talks with Rhodes afterwards.
Rhodes walks
that was
all
a great
the way
cameo.
through.
I didn't know he was
Yeah.
showing up.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it's so good.
We knew
And
he was going to come in at some
Some
point,
point,
but
and-
we didn't know
Makes-
this
yeah.
early.
Yeah,
They're
we don't,
pulling out
or
all
to
the
what
stops
degree.
right away.
He might. Yeah, that might be the only time he's in there. I
That's
hope
true.
not.
That's true.
But
I
it was
did
great
like
to have him in
his
there.
comment about bring your nephews. I'll teach them how to fly the right way.
Right, yeah. You're not jumping out of a plane and using Stark wings. Right. Yeah. Yeah. What an emotional.
So now we
now we know why the shield's gone.
we know who the Flag Smashers are and what
Right.
their MO is.
Right.
We know how they got the shield off
Right.
of Bucky and
And Sam. Yeah.
Sam. like both of them together because they're not
They're not
separated.
together, yeah.
It's not a buddy cop movie.
Not yet.
This
yeah.
is Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but they're separate.
Yeah.
Like
Winter Soldier's giving up violence.
and yeah,
Well,
okay, well, not really.
He's supposed to be.
Kind of.
He's a
got-
civilian now.
He like I love when people put rules on superheroes. It's so hilarious. to me.
Especially one
When
with that much
non-heroes
baggage.
make rules on the heroes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Especially with a dude with that much baggage.
Or
like,
an anti-hero. Like Bucky's
Yeah.
not technically even like he's a hero
He's getting
now.
there. Yeah,
he's
he's
getting
getting
there. He's working his way, but he's a semi-anti-hero
he's
at
making
this point.
amends still.
He's making
I-
amends.
I love that.
love that.
I love
He's got
that.
2 separate lists. One where he's actually trying to make
Yeah.
amends, and then one's where he's
I
coming
have to
for
do
you.
He's coming
this.
for him. Yeah. Just non-lethally. He's not going to kill them. He gets them arrested, but he still uses
He may hurt
force.
some people, but
He
he's
uses
not
some
supposed
force.
to,
Yeah.
because that violates
That's
rule
rule
number
number
2.
Yeah, if that's so important, why isn't it rule number 1?
That's a really
I
good
lo-
point.
I love that.
And I love
loved him.
you're a horrible you're a horrible shrink.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is. Speaking as somebody who sees a shrink, yeah, she's terrible. She's not good.
Oh, I love the route they're going with Bucky though. That part of his pardon is he has to go civilian
Yeah,
and go through this kind of these therapy sessions.
but
to
he
help
was
him.
real too. He said,
Oh yeah,
"I'm really trying. I, for the last 90 years,
Yeah.
have gone from one battle, one war,
Yeah.
to another. I got a glimmer
yeah,
of peace, rest. I think is
yeah.
what he called it.
It's the piece of
He did-
rest
I don't-
in Wakanda.
In Wakanda.
Yeah.
So he touches on like
The White
that-
Wolf,
the
yeah.
White Wolf,
Yeah.
the time he actually got in Wakanda,
yeah,
and then he goes and then was thrown right back into another war.
yep, yeah, with a new super cool black and gold vibranium arm,
Yeah. I mean, it's a
which
great
he still
arc.
has. He's
great
still
arc.
got, and he wears
I
gloves
love the
because of
little
poor
bit then
circulation.
that it goes to where he's like trying to date.
Oh, I
and
love that
he's-
scene.
What were
Yeah.
you gonna say?
Oh, random thing. He also cheats in Battleship. He goes twice in a row once.
Well,
he goes 2 turns in a row. I watch it like 3 times just to
Well-
make sure, but he goes 2 turns in a row.
at that point,
man,
at that
I
point,
did not catch that.
she might be a little tipsy, but he won't
trying
be
to
because
take
he's
advantage.
super soldier.
Yeah.
So he's
yeah.
like, you
well, that's what
remember
she's saying.
Captain
You
America?
can drink a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, Captain America couldn't get drunk when
Yeah.
he lost when he lost Bucky
Right.
in the first movie. He couldn't. He tried getting drunk, and the
Yeah.
super serum wouldn't let him. So Bucky's got a version of that. He might.
Yeah.
It's not quite as powerful as Cap's because it was the Hydra knockoff.
Right.
But he probably can't get drunk either.
But the thing that I think was also great about that was he's being honest with her.
Yeah,
he's
I love-
actually trying. How old
How
are
old are
you?
you?
106.
And she's like, oh, and he goes, I feel. That's what I feel like. Like, it's like, oops, I forgot. And she doesn't know who I am. Well, he cut his hair. Nobody knows. Where's the locks, the luscious locks of Bucky? Right?
I mean,
so
I miss
that's
him
what they're
a little
looking
bit.
for.
I do
Yeah.
want to say I miss him.
Well, that's why. Because I was trying to think. I'm like, why don't they recognize him?
Right.
Like he's pretty.
Well, I mean, they're also showing it's not just him. Like people don't
Yeah,
recognize.
not everybody recognizes Sam.
Sam.
But
Yeah,
that's
right away.
actually that's very realistic though, because they weren't the front runners.
Sure.
Like they weren't Iron Man, Thor, Hulk, and Captain America.
They were dusted too. They
yeah,
weren't around.
they've been
for
gone
those
for 5
years.
years. Yeah, and Bucky was mostly in the shadows, and Sam was like whenever Cap needed him, he wasn't like a full always. He was only a full Avenger for like a little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
before
and
before
that's what
Endgame.
Sam also had said he was comfortable with. Like he
Yeah.
wanted to kind of be a little bit I think Cap's like eyes and ears on the
Yeah,
ground,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
or in the sky, however you want to look at it. But
Yeah.
like he was trying to do like some of the groundwork.
Yeah.
And he was comfortable. He liked doing that.
Yeah. So the Marvel shows are showing that they are willing to like move away from all the action and go into some pretty deep and dark things. So we
Yeah.
see like WandaVision was all about trauma, and it
Right.
was super dark when it came to just the inner workings of her mind and heart.
Yep.
And now we're seeing like Bucky's his flashbacks and his nightmares and him trying to make amends, and just like it hits you in the heart, like the pain that he's going through, having to come around these survivors of the terrors he created.
Well, yeah, and
Like, that's
he's doing
crazy.
it on his own.
Yeah.
Where Sam is having to walk through that with his sister.
Right.
So
yeah.
you were talking a lot about the interactions with his sister, the bank teller, all of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like asking for autographs, just the weird juxtaposition of they're in trouble, and yeah.
Had to put it in there. Juxtaposition.
Hey, I haven't used it in a long
I
time.
know.
I haven't used that word in a while.
you stopped using it
Yeah.
when WandaVision ended, and you have now started using it.
It's a Marvel word. That's what it is. Well, they're good at juxtaposition. That's what I'm saying. But yeah, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. But it goes to that, like, so they're both working through a lot.
Yeah.
Having returned, having been away for 5 years, having to rectify what's been going on, and Bucky's doing it alone, which is wrong, and Sam's doing it with his sister, and having been absent, having not been there.
Yeah.
Well, I think you touched on the emotional aspect, but it's also the logistical aspect too of 5 years of a blip and then everybody come back is like so many of those things like with the bank loan that would have been approved, but then this crazy world event happened and changes everything.
There's no record of income. There's no.
And that's the start.
Your credit gets all
That's the start
crushed.
of what's messed up. So I did, like, that was the beginning of, like, okay, they're going to tackle some racial issues here too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And
they've said they were, like,
it's funny
Anthony
how
Mackie
things
said
get
they were.
it's funny how things get tightened up around us. And
Yeah.
I was like, yep, there it is.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. And she was dead on with being able to really try and explain to Sam, like, you weren't here seeing everything that was going on with Mom and Dad.
Right.
When you were away at the Air Force, I was here seeing all of that. When you were gone, I was dealing with all of it.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
we are not. I'm not fighting this anymore because I'm worn out from it.
Yeah.
And she goes, so you're just gonna ignore me? You're just gonna? Oh no, she said. So you're just gonna play me like that?
Yeah.
Even when you know I'm right?
And he's like,
Yep.
Yeah, and it's great. It's good to see TV shows that are going to have this kind of a platform stepping into important issues that are not only like injustices in the comic book world, but are actually ones that can translate into the real world. And that's what's always made comic books good.
Yeah.
Like, you go back, I mean, comic books have always been about what's going on in society, all the way back to the 1940s when Cap was literally knocking out Hitler. It's always been about society, and it's always been about fighting injustice. And so Cap fighting the Nazis and their mistreatment of the Jewish people and other people groups, in Europe and things like that, and in the world, like, it was about social injustice then, and it's still about social injustice now, and that the movies and TV shows are stepping into that. It's awesome.
And there's so much more to that. So you think about, like, the bank loan. Let's use that one as an example.
Yeah.
Sam did what he felt was right, what was justice to Captain America. He gave up the shield even though it was rightfully his.
Right.
He should
Cap gave it
should
to
have
him.
stepped into it. Cap gave it to him. Had he stepped into that, had he done that, do you think he would have been denied for that bank loan?
Right, yeah.
Like, that's the other side of, like, the question here is, like, if he was Captain America, do you think that he would have been
maybe
denied
not.
for that bank loan?
Yeah,
I don't know, because like they still did recognize him as Falcon and what he's done.
Yeah, but
Right,
he's not
but then
Captain America.
he's not Captain America. Like, I
That
mean,
holds
and
something
that's what
more.
they're trying to play at here is,
Yeah.
like, there are injustices that go deeper than a blip, that go deeper than than just the last 5 years, that go deeper than even what happened with aliens, wizards, and what was the other one?
Androids.
Like, it goes deeper than that. These injustices have been around for so much longer.
Yeah.
And they're still, despite the fact that there's been this huge dramatic world event, they still are there.
Yeah, that he helped save. And
That
it's
he
still
helped
affecting
right
him.
the wrongs on.
Yeah.
That he then did what was right.
Right,
What he
sacrificed
felt
his life
was
for
right. And
all of
sacrifice. And he talks about that.
Yeah.
He talks about the goodwill
Yeah.
that superheroes, like, show, and, like, how they were getting paid. Like
Right.
he talks to all of that, and
Yeah.
it means nothing.
Yeah.
Well, like what his sister said is the banks are in position to be that goodwill. That's
Right.
not the job of the bank, and I think it just shows how our society really is. That banks aren't really there to help us. It's
Right.
just for them to get money.
They're
Right.
a business. Yeah. Capitalism in that is just that's what runs even our justice, and that's it creates some sticky situations.
So that's the start of the injustice that we then see, and, like, the racial issue that's starting to play out here.
Yeah.
Because then we get the big drop, and his sister's Fury's coming in, and you're like, oh no, you know what's coming.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because we've seen set photos and we've heard who's going to take the shield at the beginning, and they're like, oh, they're making an announcement, and they turn on the TV, and there comes Kurt Russell's son, Right? Wyatt Russell walks out in the worst helmet in the world.
Looks awful.
Oh.
So first off, I'm going to address
the
two
suit's
things.
not that bad.
First, he looks
The helmet's
the
bad.
helmet looks
suit's
like you
not the
see him from
worst.
behind.
Yeah.
You see him from behind, and you're like, oh, this is a good outfit.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
he comes around, and he's got that smile, and he's got a perfectly circle head, and it just like doesn't work.
Yeah.
But it's literally that
Yeah.
issue of like so. Sam couldn't be
Yeah, it was only a couple weeks.
he just couldn't be Captain America because he was black.
Yeah, like is that what they're?
Is
what
that
they're saying?
like are we?
Like,
Is that what
why'd
they're saying?
they
'Cause
pick
it's
him?
pretty clear here.
Yeah.
Like we didn't. We just turned over this shield.
Yeah.
We just handed it off to the museum, and you commended him for doing that.
Yeah.
And then you immediately handed it to somebody who wasn't even involved
Right.
in anything.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially when you've seen what Falcon has done over the years.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And then you're going to give the shield and the title and the mantle of Captain America to nobody?
Right.
Right.
Like,
But
Right.
it's even the way that they introduce it. We need a symbol.
Yeah,
we
yeah, yeah.
Need, we
We've
need
been
somebody
looking
we
for
can
this.
Look
This
up
is
to.
super. You know, this
Are
is
you
what
kidding
we
me?
need. It's like you just had the Sam just gave a super Captain America speech.
He gave a very
You know.
real speech
And he's-
that was right at the core of what people needed to hear.
Yeah.
And then you turn around and you spit in his face.
Yeah, yeah. It
And,
was
and you
messed
spit in the
up.
face of the legacy of Captain America.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
Steve
Yeah.
Rogers. This is
Which, hey man, they
So,
did
like
a
I
great
said-
job of making us hate the bad guy right away. Like, you're like,
Exactly.
all right, I don't like this dude at all.
Exactly.
Like,
And here's
yeah.
the thing. Here's the funny thing.
yeah,
So Wyatt Russell is I've seen him in Goon 2.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I mean, like not a great movie in and of itself, but like I mean, Goon was good, but Goon
Yeah, yeah.
2, he plays in Goon 2 this character. He's like a reformed. He was a bad boy in the hockey world. He stepped away, got some therapy, and he comes back and he's trying to be a leader and he's trying to be good and he's
Yeah,
trying
yeah.
to be nice and he's got like this bubbling behind his eyes and he's like not it's clearly not working. And then he like snaps and he loses it all again.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's exactly the character
that's
that
gonna
we're going to
happen.
see happen
Yeah,
here
yeah, yeah.
with U.S. Agent that, you know, at some point this fake Captain America is going to snap.
Yeah.
And we're going to see the evil and dark side of it. And
Oh,
we're all,
yeah.
but this is already evil. This is already dark.
It's already messed up.
It's so
Yeah.
it's so wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm glad Marvel went there to actually like expose that and make us see that and have to address it right
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
I'm curious how the people are going to react to this new Captain America.
Right. Yeah.
Because, like, you know, the government's saying, oh, we need this, but, you know, sometimes the, you know, people in charge don't, you know, they think it's a good idea, but then don't
Right.
realize how it plays out. And I don't know if the people are going to really accept this cap. Like, I know I wouldn't. Like,
No,
Right,
oh,
right.
I was
Like-
saying already.
Yeah.
That's why I'm
Yeah.
like, Flag
Yeah.
Smashers, sign me up.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
Well, and I-
When's the next event?
I think this is what's going to bring Sam and Bucky together. Is that
It better.
Bucky's going to be like, what?
They're tarnishing
Like, yeah,
Cap's.
we can't for the sake of their friend.
Yeah.
They can't let this happen. You know, and it's just like, and I think when we talked about
Not
this
even
before,
for the sake. I actually hope it's not for the sake of their friend. I'm gonna push you on that. I
bigger
hope
than that.
I hope it's bigger than that. I
Yeah.
hope it's for the sake. And this is what it looked like for that. Rhodes was also saying.
Yeah,
I hope it's
yeah,
for
yeah.
the sake of Sam. Sam has earned this.
Oh, sure.
Like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
hope,
yeah.
but I hope Bucky isn't doing this just because it's for the sake of Steve. I
Yeah.
hope it's for the sake of Sam. I hope he
Mhm.
is as angry about this as Sam should be.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Sam is clearly.
Yeah.
Like he's hurt, he's devastated, and he should be. It's wrong, and I hope that Bucky comes back because of it being wrong for Sam, not just because it's wrong for Steve.
Right, and that's what I was just about to say. That in the last podcast we talked about the fact that Bucky believes that Sam is the right choice.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
That when Cap gave the shield to Sam at the end of Endgame, Bucky nods him over. And
Yeah.
It's just like, this is you. Like,
Yeah.
It's not.
It's his
It's
time.
supposed to be you.
It's his
Yeah.
time.
Right, and it goes back to that they had the flashback audio of
Mhm.
that scene where he says it feels like it's someone else's, and Cap says it's not.
And they
know,
show
it's
in that
yours.
first scene
Yeah.
that he is capable of it.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
for
I
sure.
got to tell you, put wings. I felt like that was a Captain America fight scene.
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
It was just happening in the air.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
felt like the way that it felt
Well-
was the way that Steve Rogers, that Chris Evans moved through a room, the way that Cap
Yeah,
fought.
the kicks
it
and the
felt
shield
just
and-
like it. It
Yeah.
felt like he was putting his own touches on it, obviously with the wings and the way that he fights.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it felt just like the way that he worked through it. Even
Yeah.
the way that he used his wings as a shield was the way that was the way that Cap would actually use the shield.
Right. It was a little different than he used his wings as shields in Civil War.
Right.
But it just kind of like enveloped him.
Right.
Like around like a case. But he actually kind of put his arm out and like.
And he's not even fighting with a gun. Like, he wasn't even fighting
right, he
for
doesn't
the
have
most
those
part with a
automatics
gun.
anymore.
He wasn't using them.
He used to have the automatics.
Yeah, I mean, if he fought all the way through like Cap fought through with just with his wings and with his fists.
Yeah.
And always, I think you saw in the fight too, was protecting the pilot.
Yeah.
That he was trying to save. Like, that was his goal, not to knock out the bad guys. Like, that was his secondary goal, was to take care of the bad guys. But the primary goal was to take care of
to save
captain.
The guy.
Versus, some of the heroes, it's okay. I'm going to fight the bad guys to kind of take out the threat, and then hopefully everybody else is safe because of that. But
You're right. You're right. That's a good point.
Yeah.
And so, like, you're already seeing the way that Cap always rose above injustice, and even when nobody else was doing the right thing, he would do the right thing. It's the exact same thing here with Sam that we're starting to see. Like, even when nobody else is doing the right thing, he's going to do the right thing. And I really am excited to see them play through that, because clearly nobody's doing the right thing here.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be so good. And once we get more Flag Smasher action and get them together and get Sam and Bucky together, it's just going to be so good.
Yeah. Favorite part?
Favorite part, I think it was when he's talking to the therapist and going over the rules. How he's like the therapist and he's saying each one of the rules.
Yeah.
How he's not breaking them, but then he's really breaking
show
them.
what
and
he's
just
doing. Yeah.
I think that was just a good bit of humor in it.
That is good. Yeah.
Showing what Bucky's going through. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, having to actually really work through it as opposed to just like it's like those. Here are the steps to success.
Right.
Here's what you need to do.
He's doing
it's
his
like,
own way.
well, I'm kind of doing it.
Trying.
I'm trying, man. I'm real trying.
Oh man, favorite part. I like the whole thing. I think my favorite scene, though, and it's gonna be kind of morbid, but I think my favorite scene was the flashback when he was the Winter Soldier again, and going through, like, tearing through that, and him waking up and just like that fear that Bucky has that fear of, even though the people in Wakanda fixed his the brainwashing that was in his mind. I think he'll always have that fear of what if he wakes up the Winter Soldier again?
Right.
Like, what if he wakes up going back to
even though
that?
that's been 10 years or so that he was the Winter Soldier, like,
it's
he's
still
gonna have those memories that are gonna haunt him for the rest of his life.
Right. I think of the line in Civil War when Tony asks him if he remembers when his parents, when he killed them, and Bucky answers like, I remember all of them. Like, he can't forget their faces. He can't forget what he's done. Yeah. And so it's just that flashback brought us right into the seriousness of what he's going through, which I think was awesome. Yeah. How about you? Favorite part, man.
I think my favorite part was seeing Bucky have to walk through what is one of the most awkward situations, which is like a first
date.
I think seeing the emotional, but from the very beginning, where he's saying things that he's like being honest, and they're not landing, and it's kind of funny, and he also comes with flowers, which rarely is ever done before, and she's like, if that wasn't the most adorable old-fashioned thing, and I'm like, that's what he would have done.
The 40s.
Yeah. So I love that, but then all the way to the end, where you want him. And you see the struggle he's having with being able to say to his neighbor that he was the one who killed him. And like, they're really laying it on at that point.
Yeah, he sees the little shrine set up to remember his son.
So it's all of that. It's the start to finish of that. I think that was my favorite part. I'm really starting to – I feel like I'm starting to relate a lot more with Bucky, and I like that, because I feel like Bucky has always been somebody we get bits and pieces on, and it was always like – it was always tied to Steve. It was always tied to Steve's story.
And same with Sam.
Right.
Sam was always tied with Steve, and now we're getting more
and we're getting
of
so
his
much
with
more.
The parents' boat, the fishing boat, and seeing his history and struggling through wanting to provide for his sister and his nephews. And
the emotional beats of the whole episode, I think, were my
spot
favorite
on.
part.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. All right. That's episode 1.
Episode 1.
And it was 50 minutes.
Yeah, I know.
I wonder if they're all going to be that long.
I hope so, because
I
don't want none of this 26-minute ridiculousness.
8 minutes of credits.
8 minutes of credits. Come on.
No, I'm telling you that
they should be 45 to 50 minutes. They should be that every single time.
That episode felt as short as the WandaVision ones.
It
It was
did.
so
Yeah.
good.
It
It just
did.
it went fast.
I'm actually, I got to tell you, I am
Yeah.
a little bit, I am thankful to not be like trying to mind meld everything, that like trying to pick apart an episode anymore.
yeah.
I'm just like enjoying what I see.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah.
As opposed to like, I felt like every
Was a
one
reference
of the
or something.
WandaVision episodes was like a mystery I had
Yeah.
to solve.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
I'm like,
that's so true.
It's
what
Yeah,
just
is- I
enjoyment.
can't just enjoy
Yeah.
it. I had to like be like, what did they mean by that?
you're so right. When I was prepping for this, I was like, "There's really like the Flag Smashers and U.S. Agent. Like
Yeah.
that was like it. Like the rest of it was just
Stupid
fun
US
and
Agent.
good character development. It wasn't like how many Easter eggs can we fit into one episode, which
Yeah.
wasn't bad. I liked that about WandaVision. But yeah, it was nice to just
I liked it at times.
Sit and
It did
enjoy.
feel like it felt like I was in a college study of WandaVision at certain times. I felt like every time I'm like, let me pause, rewind. What did that actually
right.
see,
Go back
say? Like
frame by
frame by
checking
frame
it out.
that. Yeah, what's going on here?
Because if you miss one thing in WandaVision, it could be
You
a
could,
huge
the
thing.
whole thing.
you're done.
Yeah.
You're done.
Yeah.
Like, just go ahead. You missed it.
Yeah, well, here's to enjoying a second episode next week.
Yep. Thanks for listening to the Legion of Comic Correction. Don't forget to check out our other episodes streaming everywhere you listen to podcasts. We're also on the major social platforms like Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Just search Legion of Comic Correction.
That's right. And make sure to check out our Patreon for exclusive supporter specials at patreon.com/Legion of CC. New episodes come out every Monday.
And Wednesdays.
No, just Mondays.
And Wednesdays?
I don't think we can do Wednesdays.
We can do Wednesdays.
All right, Mondays and Wednesdays. We'll see you guys next week. Same time, same place, same Legion.